Hey guys, I'm back! After months of technical difficulties and issues that we were having here, and some equipment failure, I'm back. So, we got a new camera, you can see more on the couch, got some new posters back here, I got a new plushie. What am I reviewing now that I'm back? Fuck! I'm gonna go right out there and say it, I do not like The Last Remnant. Not at all. Don't get me wrong, I love RPGs, I really love what Square-Enix does. Like Christ, I like Final Fantasy XIII, I think that says a lot, but I do not like The Last Remnant. It's not my cup of tea.
Let me set it up.
Oh.
Alright, so the story to The Last Remnant is you play as this guy named Rush Sykes, who is the son of these two famous scientists in the land of the Last Remnant. And he invites Rush and Rush's sister, Irene, to come live with them up in the facility, because they're going to be a while and whatnot. So just as they're about to leave, aliens come down from the sky, take Rush's sister, and just go back and fly off. So Rush is just chasing after these aliens. That's where the game really comes together. And it's an interesting story. Very overused, the idea of like a sibling trying to find a sibling, trying to get the sibling. But Square Enix does it in a way that it's a little bit different and it doesn't feel too overused.
Attacked by some flying beast.
The gameplay is a little slow though. It practically grinds to a halt. I'm like 3 hours into it, and it's really just dragging itself, and you think, oh, it's going to pick up soon. It doesn't. It gets so much slower. And some of the things that like hinders it, that makes it a bit slower, is the fact that there's lag. I can't stress this enough. When it's really bad, when a console game, that's sort of like unexcusable with console games nowadays, or at all to begin with. And I know it's not the game, and I know it wasn't my systems, because I had done multiple checks with the original disc, checked it on this system, checked it on my old system, checked it at a friend's system, and then switched the discs to get a different copy of the game. Same thing happened, so there's something wrong with the game itself that lags a bit, and I've heard other people have had problems with it on the 360. I don't know much about the PlayStation 3, probably on the PC, get lag all the time. And it's more so you'll get like a lot of lag during like intense cutscenes when there's a lot happening, and sometimes at the beginning of the battles, depending on how big the battle is, you'll get quite a bit of lag. Another thing that sort of hinders it is the repetitiveness. It gets really repetitive really quickly, and it gets really boring because of that, which is unfortunate because the combat system is really interesting, where you have like these large armies, where you have like your own troops and units, and you have to command them to, you know, attack these people, attack these. And I think it's really cool that you have like, you know, 3 people to a team in each unit, and you have like multiple units that you tell to go do something. It's interesting, but it gets repetitive, and I know the idea could work, just Square Enix hasn't fully utilized it. The music in the game is fitting, which is good, because that's what Square Enix is good with their RPGs, is they make really good music with them. The voice acting is a little cheesy, and sometimes awkward, out of place, and a little ridiculous. There'll be characters who have voices that are really angry, but there's no motivation to why they're angry, and characters get overexcited for no reason. Some could argue it's because it's a Japanese RPG. Others would say that's inexcusable, because when I go to play RPGs, I expect to have like characters that, you know, I want to, you know, look into their personalities. I want to, you know, see where this character development comes. I don't get a lot of that from The Last Remnant, and maybe 3 hours in doesn't do it. It's 2 discs long. I don't know if I could sit through that just to get some sort of development in the characters. That's a little bit of a problem with the voice acting, is it destroys the character development a little bit. Another thing I need to note is that the game has this weird, half-assed system of like navigating between places. You have a world map, and you can choose if you want to go to like these dungeons here or there or towns. If you go into a town, you go into a town map. At the town map, you select which area in the town you want to go to, and then you go and explore within that area of the town. It feels a little half-assed that they would do something like that, but in the same time, you could just say, you know, they spent more time working on the combat, which they sort of did, compared to, you know, just roaming around a city. So there's something like that that's a little bit stupid. Another thing that's really weird, and I'm saying a lot of bad things about this game, but another thing that's really weird is some of the missions that they'll give you are a little bit like pointless. One of the earlier missions you have, I think it's like the second one, the king asks you, this isn't so much asking, the king tells you, go to the pub, you might find some more information about the whereabouts of your sister. So you go to the pub, and the only information that you get is where the castle is, and go talk to the king to get an audience with the king. And then you go to the castle, and then you get a mission where the king's like, oh, we've heard there's some suspicious activity in this cave, and there's something happening over at these ruins. And it's like, why didn't you tell me that before you had me go to the pub? I would have cared less about that. There's missions like that that are really pointless, and they're just blatant cover-ups for Square-Enix to force you to try things, and it's like, you just want to sort of get into the game rather than screw around trying to figure out what you're supposed to do. That's something I didn't like. Something I did like, and this might surprise a lot of people, is the game is a little bit linear. And some people might go, oh, that's terrible, I expect RPGs to be open world. I really like when games are a bit more linear, especially RPGs, because I tend to go like way off in a different direction and don't even bother with the main quest, and sometimes don't even bother with the side quests. With a game that's like, you know, The Last Remnant and even Final Fantasy XIII, I stick to the story. I'll be able to go into the story, and that's what I'm really looking for in RPGs, obviously, is, you know, the story. And that's what RPGs are actually meant for, is the story development. So I do like the fact that it's linear, because it keeps players on track, it keeps the story going, hopefully. That's a good thing. Especially in today's generation when everything's open world. As I said, the combat system in it's really interesting. It's not fully utilized. Something I've found interesting, I don't know if this is true or not, don't quote me on this, is I think The Last Remnant might have been a test subject for Final Fantasy XIII, because looking at the way Final Fantasy XIII's combat system is and the way The Last Remnant's combat system is, they sort of have a couple similarities in it, not too many. I think there was a bit of like tweaking and trying to see what works and what would work, what doesn't work, what people think, and they just tweaked the combat system for Final Fantasy XIII, and bam, there you go. So I think this might have been a bit of a test subject of what they were doing. Overall, I give this game a 5 out of 10. It seems like for every good thing I have to say about this game, there's like 3 or 4 bad things I have to say about it. But nevertheless, The Last Remnant offers some interesting ideas that hopefully Square-Enix will implement in future projects. Ow! The hell am I sitting?